Morning tiptoed into bright cobble village. Dew sparkled on the stones, and the air smelled like fresh bread and cool grass. In the little square, a tiny bell usually sang a bright ding-ding. Today it hung very still, as if it had forgotten its song. Luna came closer with her lantern. She leaned in and saw a thin golden thread tucked around the bell's loop. The thread felt warm, like sun on a blanket. Luna held the end carefully so it would not slip away. Kai arrived with his little fox bouncing at his heels. The fox sniffed the air and flicked its tail at the glowing thread. Luna showed Kai the sun-colored thread. They decided to follow it and help the bell find its voice again. The thread pointed out of the village, straight toward the open hills. It shimmered softly, as if it was calling them to a gentle adventure. They walked together, step by step. Luna kept the thread safe in her hand, and Kai matched her pace so it would not tug too hard. Outside the gate, the path turned to soft dirt. The thread floated ahead like a tiny sunbeam, leading them onward. Thistledown footpath was bright and friendly. Bees hummed a sleepy tune as the sun climbed higher. Luna and Kai followed the thread between tall flowers. It tickled their hands with tiny sparks of warmth. Luna stopped to be sure the thread was not snagged. Her lantern shone softly, and the thread gleamed even brighter. Kai and the fox checked the ground where the thread skimmed along. The fox's nose twitched, and it scampered ahead for a moment, then waited. A signpost pointed toward a grove of trees. The thread tugged that way too, so they turned with quiet smiles. They left the buzzing flowers behind. The air ahead smelled like leaves and cool shade. They walked between stone walls warmed by the sun. The thread floated forward, never rushing, never stopping. Amberleaf Grove glowed with bright leaves. Sunbeams slipped through the branches, and the air sparkled with tiny floating specks. They stepped into the grove and looked around slowly. The thread stretched between the trees, as if it had been here before. In a small clearing, the thread circled a stump like a loose bracelet. It trembled, like it was missing something important. Luna gathered the loose loop so it would not tangle. The thread felt a little sad, like a song with a missing note. Kai and the fox searched near the roots. They found only smooth stones and a feather, but the fox kept sniffing as if the answer was close. They held still and listened. In the wind, they could almost hear a tiny bell trying to ring far away. The thread pulled gently toward the open fields. Luna kept it snug in her hand, and Kai walked close so they would not lose the glow. They climbed a small rise where grass swayed in slow waves. The day felt warm and safe, and the thread shone like honey. Sunspun field opened wide around them. Butterflies fluttered through the warm air, and everything looked softly golden. They waded through the tall grass, which brushed their knees like a gentle broom. The thread floated above the stems so they could keep following. Ahead, a stone bridge waded over a sparkling river. The thread pointed right at it, as if the bridge knew a secret. Luna wrapped the thread around her wrist so it could not slip away. It felt cozy there, like a warm bracelet. Kai and the fox hurried a little, then slowed down again. They saw a faint golden sparkle near the bridge stones, like a clue waiting. They reached the field's edge and saw the river clearly now. The thread tugged once, very gently, like a small hello. They followed the worn path down to the water. The grass whispered behind them as if it was wishing them luck. Pebbles crunched softly as they neared the river. Water sparkled like tiny mirrors in the afternoon sun. Rillstone Bridge stood strong and quiet. The river beneath it ran clear and cool, making little silver ripples. They walked onto the bridge and looked down. The thread dipped toward the water, as if something was trapped below. There, between smooth stones, was the missing bell. It was caught in a twig, and the river kept pulling it softly back and forth. Luna knelt and reached carefully. The water looked cold, and she moved slowly so the bell would not slip deeper. Kai climbed down with the fox to help from below. Using a long reed, he gently pushed the twig away while the fox steadied itself on a stone. Together they lifted the bell free. Water dripped in shining beads, and the bell looked relieved to be in the air again. But the bell still did not ring. Its little clapper was gone, and the thread looked worn, like it needed mending. They decided to find what the bell was missing. Luna carried the quiet bell, and the thread led them toward warm-colored rocks ahead. They climbed a rocky path where the stones felt sun-warm. The river sounds grew softer behind them. Hollowbell Cliff rose gently above the path. Its cave mouth was round like a bell, and cool air breathed out from the darkness. They stepped closer, and Luna lifted her lantern. The golden thread slid into the cave, inviting them to follow quietly. Inside, Luna's lantern made the walls look like warm caramel. She held the bell near her ear and heard only a tiny hush. Kai and the fox explored the side rocks. In a narrow crack, something small and shiny glinted like a lost button. It was the bell's clapper, safe and shiny. It had rolled into a cozy nook and waited there all day. Kai passed the clapper to Luna with careful hands. Luna smiled softly, ready to help the bell sing again. They fixed the clapper and mended the golden thread. The knot sat snug and tidy, like a little hug holding everything together. At the cave entrance, the sky was turning orange and pink. Luna lifted the bell, and it gave a soft, happy ring that echoed like a lullaby. They started back down the path with the bell safe in Luna's hands. Each step felt lighter, as if the air itself was smiling. The river looked different in the sunset light, like molten gold. The bell's thread glowed softly, no longer tangled. Rillstone Bridge waited under a gentle sunset. The water below sparkled quietly, as if it was clapping without making a sound. They crossed the bridge again, slower now. Luna gave the bell a tiny shake, and its clear ring sounded brave and bright. Kai and the fox did a little victory wiggle by the pebbles. Kai used a cloth to dry the bell so it would shine nicely. Luna rubbed the bell until it gleamed. It felt warm in her palms, like it remembered its own song. They made a strong loop for the bell to hang from again. When the knot was done, the bell rang once more, clear as a tiny star. The sun slid lower, and the air turned cooler. They turned toward home, carrying the bell like a precious little treasure. As they walked, the first star blinked awake. The bell caught the last bit of sunset and then settled into the calm of evening. Bright Cobble Village looked cozy under the twilight sky. Warm lights flickered in windows, and everything felt safe and near. They returned to the square where the bell belonged. The air was quiet, ready to hear the bell's song again. Luna lifted the bell up to its hook and set it in place. The golden thread lay neatly, like a ribbon tied for a celebration. Kai tapped the bell softly, and it rang a sweet ding. The fox curled up, looking very pleased with their work. They listened to the bright little rings float into the night. The sound felt like a goodnight kiss for the whole village. With the bell singing again, they headed home. Their footsteps were slow and soft on the cool stones. Lantern light made warm puddles on the path. The village was settling down, with only gentle night sounds in the air. Moon-warm Hearth House glowed like a little pocket of sunshine. Outside, the stars watched quietly, twinkling above the roof. Inside, the room was warm and snug. The kettle breathed little puffs of steam, and the fire made everything feel soft. Luna set her lantern down and smoothed the blanket. Her eyes felt heavy, like they were full of warm sand. Kai sat by the fire with the fox curled into a tiny orange ball. He tucked a blanket over it, and the fox sighed like it was already dreaming. They sat together for a quiet moment, listening to the crackle of the fire. Far away, the village bell rang softly, safe in its place. Soon it was time for sleep. The room grew quieter, and the night wrapped around the house like a calm blue coat. Luna and Kai snuggled under their blankets. Their breathing slowed, soft and steady, like a gentle wave. The fire became quiet embers, and the whole house rested. With the bells singing again in the village, Luna, Kai, and the little fox drifted into sweet, peaceful sleep.